bass, slidey bass, slidey bass, slidey bass, slidey bass, slidey bass, slidey bass. Idiot.
I didn't lock down the wheels on this table.
People are going to be like, why are you being mean to Ryan? The episode hasn't even started.
I put my feet on the table and I didn't lock the wheels and it started to slide forward and all our water cups were shifting around and it was almost a disaster.
This first ad was sent by Jason Welch.
Or are we starting with an ad? I thought we were starting with the topic.
What's the topic? Oh, are we starting with the topic? What's the topic? What's the news, Ryan?
It's not news. It's a topic, Steve. It was suggested to us by Joe Braga.
Okay.
This is the hot clickbaity thing we're opening with, Steve. Are pedals, are limited edition pedals, gatekeeping? Is it intentionally designed to keep pores from buying up these fancy pedals so that they sound worse? Her actual comment reads, is inflatedly priced and limited pedals gatekeeping? Pedals keep going up, and with prices over, exclusives only allow for people who have the luxury to buy. If you can buy, sure, awesome, but does this drive up the rest of the pedal market as well? I'm seeing two knob pedals selling for $250 or $350 now, like a Strymon costs, only with a huge lack of options by comparison. Why? You know, it is interesting.
Why?
Why? When Strymon first got on our radar, like way back, even before we started podcasting, it was like, I can't believe these things are $350. I can't believe this pedal's $299. Can you imagine paying so much for a pedal? And now that's like kind of a standard price for a lot of pedals. Like it became the new normal. And you do see that happening with the resale of limited edition pedals, like limited art or pedals that are only made in short numbers. Like Boss they put out the Wazacraft tone bender, limited to 3,000, which sounds like a lot, 3,000, but it's for Boss. That's a micro run.
Nothing.
That's a micro run.
Only 3 times as many as the Bliss Factory. I think was 1,000.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Bliss Factory was more than 1,000.
But still, like
3,000 seems like a small number. I thought it was going to be like 10,000.
But still, like this limited edition thing is happening and it's driving up tons of prices in the used market for like collectability for some reason. Do you think that is keeping everyday musicians from achieving the tones that they should be able to achieve at a lower price?
So I don't think this is gatekeeping it might be gatekeeping in a more abstract sense. I don't think it's gatekeeping in the same sense of like, oh, you say you like Star Trek. Who's your favorite captain? Oh, your favorite captain's what's the new captain? I forgot what the new captain's name is.
You say you love your family? Show me your top 3 favorite photo albums.
Yeah. your favorite captain's Janeway. That's
Kirk,
what I think.
Picard, or GTFO.
So I mean, that's what I kind of think of as gatekeeping as a classic fandom.
And then you throw Pike back in their face.
Or even like there is definitely gatekeeping in the music community.
For sure.
Insofar of people being like, oh, you got a Rat too? Couldn't afford a Rat, huh?
I mean, gatekeeping could...
You got a Squire, huh? Couldn't afford a real Fender.
Gatekeeping could go any direction in the Guitar Gear like fandom world, right? Though. Like people could be like, oh, cool, another board full of Strymons. Yeah, I bet you just play swells all day long.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean that's definitely like a thing. You know,
You okay? Got an itchy nose?
Every once in a while, I get one like mustache hair that decides.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different forms of gatekeeping, but I guess my thought is like, what is price inflation is goofy. It's just kind of goofy to me. Not that to say like price inflation could be gatekeeping. There's definitely like, and that could even be an example of like reverse, like you were saying, like almost like a reverse gatekeeping, where like, oh, you bought a Klon, huh? Where half the people are like, oh man, you got a Klon, that's so cool. Like, how much did you pay? And people freak out over it.
Right.
And then other people are like, oh, you bought a Klon, huh? You're one of those people.
Oh, you're someone who has $500,000 to throw around,
Is your last name Bonamassa?
Right.
But then the flip side of that again is like, I guess the idea, the broader idea is that gatekeeping is always about like true gatekeeping, I would say like dangerous. Is dangerous the right word?
The type of the kind of gatekeeping that matters.
Yeah. Awesome cheap guitars is gatekeeping in a way that is kind of cool.
Right. It doesn't matter.
It's not saying you can't own something nice. It's just don't talk about anything worth more than $500 in this group. That's a kind of gatekeeping that like I think is pretty inclusive because you can.
It starts from the bottom.
But when you're saying like, oh, you want to play metal, huh? You're like, oh, but you have a Fender. You should have got a BC Rich. Like,
right.
It's kind of like, you're not doing yourself.
I don't think anyone these days is calling it BC Rich as the metal guitar to get.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about metal.
Right.
Jackson.
Right.
Schecter.
I think still you're not scratching the surface of what people want to hear from a metal guitar these days.
The limited pedals thing, though, I think is interesting. I think there is kind of there is some level of cool kids club. Whether or not I would describe that entry into the cool kids club as gatekeeping, I don't know.
Well, I don't think anyone's not going to have access to gigs, to joining bands, except for an extreme situation.
Sure.
Or to getting music discovered that they've recorded because they couldn't afford, like the used value of, like one of the pedals Josh Scott made in his basement as a limited run. Right. Or, the Boss Tone Bender that sold out in a couple minutes at $300 something.
Oh, did it sell out?
Yeah, it sold out before I was even awake, and it wasn't even open to US distributors. Like it was all Europe.
I didn't really follow it. And so I think that actually might be what the core of this question is, right? Was that $299 or $399? Do you remember?
Oh, the Tone Bender?
Yeah, the Boss one.
Yeah, it was like $300. What are you looking for?
Oh, I'm not going to take it off. So you've got a twin bender.
Yeah, I've also got a Park somewhere over there by the
amp. A Park also.
The Park is also a Tone Bender by Earthquaker Devices. So and I think it's like 160 or something.
Yeah, well, it's 160 for now. Right.
Right.
Well, and what I mean, so I think that kind of, to me, that's what the core of this question is. Joe, tell me if I'm wrong.
Also, you can find all sorts of Tone Bender clones out there for dirt cheap, made by all sorts of people. So,
can you? I mean, I don't know. I don't
know. Every fuzz circuit, there's someone out there. There's someone in your town making a Tone Bender in a plain metal box, and you can probably buy it off of them for $75.
But I think there are. I think there are a lot of pedals that. Somebody makes a limited edition version of it and it drives up the price. Like I think this Boss thing, if like a twin bender, I don't know what the production numbers are for Ramble Effects. I don't know, how easy it is to get one. Go to their website, check it out. Mm-hmm. But if it's not easy to get one, then the Boss Frenzy could drive up the used market on that pedal. It could drive up the used market on all tone benders. Right, because it's such a popular thing, and so there is it's almost like Jack White effect.
If anything, though, like you think of the Klon was super hard to get, super expensive, and because prices drove up on it and it became so hard to get, it spawned a billion Klon clones, and it made the circuit so easy to get that anyone could have a Klon clone.
But the prices of clones are still going up.
But you don't need to buy the original Klon to have that. Like the gatekeeping is it doesn't matter anymore because you can still get that sound at a dirt cheap price if you want to. Go get a Soul Food, I
think the other side of that though is, and the Soul Food is the perfect example. What year did that pedal come out?
It must have been like 2015 or something like that.
Right. So basically, it took 20 years for someone to come out.
The hype wasn't there yet,
The hype has been around for a pretty long time.
I don't think I had heard of a Klon until like probably 2012, 2013 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
That was one of the first pedals Josh Scott got in trouble for.
All right.
I definitely remember hearing about Klons when people were like selling them like north of $500.
Right,
People
right.
were like, "Oh man, I should have gotten one of those back in the '90s. I could be doubling up right now."
Right, right.
So I think that's part of it too. Is there are some pedals that eventually catch up, but for some of these,
I mean, I don't think the price of most pedals, the people that buy the super expensive ones, it's because there's something that scratches like their nerdy itch with
Right.
it, and you can still get those sounds or approximations of the sounds with so many different budget options these days. I don't think it's gatekeeping at all. I don't think it's restricting anyone from achieving the sounds that are in their heads for the most part.
Here's a weird thought. Whenever Strymon comes out with a pedal at $300, which I don't know if they've done that in a while, but whenever they do it, given inflation, that pedal is actually cheaper.
Right.
Like the next time they come out with a compact for Strymon delay at $300, it's going to actually be cheaper than the El Cap was when the El Cap came out,
Yeah, totally.
or the or
Based
whatever.
on inflation.
Based on inflation.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think that's another thing.
It doesn't.
We're seeing, like I said earlier in this conversation, we're seeing that a lot of pedals are starting at 250, 300. And that's something we couldn't have imagined even when we started this podcast. That would be the norm.
And maybe that's the gatekeeping that's happening, is that that you used to be able to maybe dip your toes into the boutique game and at what felt like a more reasonable price.
Well,
and
the boutique game has changed
Sure.
because it used to be, hand painted little boxes in bare metal enclosures with a couple knobs, and there'd be like, oh, this is just something I make, and it's a little tweaky different than a regular tube screamer. And now the boutique is like, oh yeah, we put like this, we put like 6 Shark processors in this, and you can get 6,000 MIDI presets and stuff like that. Like it's changed. Like it's a different game now.
For that it is, but if anything, depending on how you look at it, like more chips, does that mean it should be more expensive or less expensive? You're just hooking up to your computer and going tappity tap 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 and boom, and then you to go tappity tap 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 tap, and instead of being a reverb, now you got a chorus.
Well, I think in the case of chips, I think more chips shouldn't change the price, but if you add guac, yeah, that should get more expensive.
Guac is so expensive. It's like an extra $3 for like a little cup of guac. It's ridiculous.
You know what? An avocado only costs $1. If you're still overpaying at a grocery store, if you're really looking around Southern California, you can find avocados for like ground. 35 cents, 50 cents sometimes per avocado. But you go to Chipotle, they want $3 for guac. What are they doing? That's highway robbery.
I'm loving it.
60 cycle, yum.
I think there is a fair point here that the cost of what basic pedals might be going up. The cost of living's going up. I don't know. But at the same time, I think getting into pedals is cheaper than it's ever been.
If I could definitely say that. Like if you are looking to get into pedals for cheap, you can definitely do it a lot cheaper now. Because Boss, even when I was young, like is still like $100 and something for most Boss pedals.
Yeah.
And you account for inflation, like all Boss pedals should be like $250 now.
Yeah.
Based on like, late 90s pricing. And they're not. There's a lot of Boss pedals that are still, like you can go buy a DS1 for $40 still. Same for like an SD one and things like that.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of, original style pedals, tube screamers, fuzzes, things like that. Simple analog pedals that you can still get for dirt cheap. All sorts of brands, all sorts of varieties. You don't have to, it's my job over here to constantly be covering like the newest thing. You can go buy all the old stuff used.
Can you though?
You can. And a lot of it is not expensive. So I don't know. I think it's easy if you if you're plugged into the guitar pedal news cycle,
Right.
to be like, oh my gosh, all pedals are $400 now, and I have to buy a MIDI switcher, and I have to get, the right patch cables and stuff like that. No, you can still do it the way that we did it in the 90s. You can go to the pawn shop and buy a $40 phaser because you've never had one before.
And I do think there is something to, maybe it's a little bit of FOMO, maybe it's a little bit of, shiny new toy, and it's on the internet now.
Oh, sure.
Like the people who did get in on the Boss tone bender thing, like they've got a thing that they can go into Boss fan groups and be like, look what I got. Look what I got, dorks.
I still want that little box set that Boss put out that was the reissues of the original 3 pedals.
Yeah.
With the silver screws and everything like that. I think that's like, if I was going to get a collectible Boss thing, I think that would be the one, because it's just there's something cool about the whole package. But then I have to ask myself, do I play them, or is it just like a collector's thing? I don't know.
You play them, dude.
I would play them.
You got to play them.
I would play them.
Get a special board for it.
But do I Velcro them? Oh, funny story. JHS, I kept putting the $500,000 Klon into shots, or I'd use it in videos. I turned it over. Whatever lunatic had it before Josh put the soft Velcro on the bottom.
What?
How is he asking $500,000 for that thing? It's got the soft Velcro on the bottom.
Are you sure he didn't put it? Did you ask him?
No, I commented on it, and he's like, I know.
That's great.
It's the number 2 Klon. It's the first Klon to go into production, and some lunatic,
oh my gosh,
put giant patches of soft Velcro on the bottom. Not the hard loop. You put the hard loop on the bottom of the pedals.
They probably won, because whoever owned it before Josh Scott probably bought it off, freaking Bill Finnegan off the whatever his local newspaper classifieds was. Hey guys, it's got to be 5 lines. Handmade distortion pedal from Bill. Call number. That's it. He's like $25 ad of the newspaper. Run it for 6 months.
No, what it is they got it and they're like, oh, this pedal's so big, it could be a pedal board, and they flipped it over and they put other pedals on the bottom.
That's the dumbest thing you've said tonight.
And I've said a lot of dumb things. All right, let's first ad.
Yeah, let's do this ad.
This was sent to us by somebody, Jason Welch. It was posted on the Facebook group. It is a Telecaster style electric guitar, custom, the good, the bad, and the ugly theme Telecaster style electric guitar. One of a kind, $1,500 in Clinton, Illinois. Custom built, hand tooled, leather covered Telecaster style guitar with a Clint Eastwood movie theme. One of a kind guitar that looks, plays, and sounds great. Details: alder body with hand tooled leather cover and pick guard, rosewood neck, Fender noiseless, N3 pickups, 4-way switch, standard Telecaster wiring, pickups in series in front position, CTS 250. Man, the details. Blah 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 blah.
Goto tuners, Colt 45 switch tip. Pew pew.
Let's just look at the pictures, man. The pictures tell the story. So this is, I've actually been kind of I like the look of guitars that have the full leather wrap with the stitching on the edges and stuff. I think it's a neat look, that kind of like Elvis era sort of look. I'm sure it doesn't do amazing things for your tone, but this is a fully decorated leather wrapped Telecaster style guitar. And I think the art on it is decent. I definitely, you see the characters that are being called out in the, the impressions on the guitar.
Yeah.
You got Clint Eastwood on the lower bout of the Telecaster. You have, what's his name? The bad. The ugly.
Monco?
You have the ugly.
Monco in this one?
With his neck in a noose on the pick guard.
Yeah.
And the bad, I'm assuming, is on the, it's the good, the bad, the ugly poster on the back.
I do have to say I just saw the neck plate.
Badass. It's the silhouette
a little cringe
of Clint Eastwood. I don't think that silhouette is even from the good and the bad, the ugly. I think that was from High Plains Drifter.
I think it is High Plains. You're right. I think you're
so.
Right.
We got a mixed thing going on here. Honestly, the revolver art, the revolver engraving in the leather
In the front?
is pretty good.
There's a lot of fun. I don't know if fun's right. There's a lot of neat little, I think all of the 6-shooter knobs, the bullet switch tip, along the upper bout.
I like the upper edge where there's the bandolier bullets.
Yeah, I think that's fun.
I think that's a fun detail. I think the extra bullet stuck in his rivets, and I think the knobs as revolver barrels is that called a barrel? What's the revolver part called?
What do you mean not the barrel?
It's
like
where
the
you
handle?
where you slide the bullets into in a revolver. Is that just called the revolver?
I don't know.
So anyways, I don't think those like themed knobs and the switch tips are cool. I think that's a step too far into novelty kitsch sort of thing. But I like the bandolier along the top edge because it's not something that you buy. It's something that the craftsman made. I'm kind of on the fence about Clint on the front and, the guy in the noose. I wish I could remember the actor's name.
Yeah. Not Van Cleef. Van Cleef's the other guy.
Yeah, he's the bad. I'm talking about the ugly.
I know.
I mean, the Clint Eastwood doesn't even have a name in those movies. At least I don't think so anyway. It's like he's a nameless character.
Well, it depends on the movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think in this one he doesn't have a name. Eli Wallach.
Eli Wallach.
Eli Wallach was the actor.
I think it's
Tuco is the one in this movie.
It feels a little weird how I wish it was a different scene than him with his neck in a noose.
Right.
Like it just feels
It's a little
grim.
Grim. Spoiler, he doesn't die.
He doesn't die.
Then
I
got into a whole thing with someone recently about whether or not the trilogy is a true trilogy, and people try to say like, well, it's like Indiana Jones where it's a trilogy but it's out of order. I'm like, I think it's just stories and they just hired the same actors over and over again. That's how I feel about it.
I think it's not a true trilogy in that you could watch them as standalones and not be lost.
I think it's a true
because they are standalone stories.
Oh, okay. So in the first movie, his name was Joe.
Okay.
He was Monko in the second movie, A Few Dollars More, and he was Blondie in this one.
Well, those are just like
that's what people called him.
Pet names in it.
Here's my take on this. What does it say? Every gun makes its own.
You're reading the engraving on the back.
Every gun makes its own tune. What's that?
Sure.
Here's my thought on this. This guitar is themed the good, the bad, and the ugly. But this guitar is actually the ugly, and the ugly.
You don't think there's any good? You don't think there's bad in here? I think there's good in it. I think there's certainly bad in it.
There's a little bit of good, but I think it's outweighed by the bad and the ugly.
Okay, I'm going to say the good. I like the leather wrap. I like the stitching on the edges.
Yeah, that is also my good.
I like the bandolier detail on the upper edge. I even like the revolver. I think that's fun. I think the ugly is the guy in the noose. I think Clint on the front is ugly just because it's kind of a weird face he's making and he's just poking out the side. It seems like almost a joke, like, hey, here I am. I think the good, the bad, the ugly engraving on the back is fine. I think that kind of pulls it together. I think
that is that is from the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, it is. I think the neck plate is unnecessary.
I think if it was just the image, it would be fine. I think the inclusion of badass is so cheesy.
I kind of don't like photo engraved neck plates. I think that's
Would
cheesy.
Would you have put something else there, like a different?
Here's what I would have done. You take that neck plate out to the desert or wherever, the woods, and you fire a single bullet hole into the middle of it. You use it for target practice, and that's your theming. You don't photo engrave it. You shoot it with a gun.
Yeah.
And that would be cool. I don't know. This guy wants a bunch of money for it. I'm not sure it's worth
$1,500. Yeah.
On the headstock it says Spaghetti Western Telecaster.
I kind of like that. That's I don't know if it's a good detail, but I wouldn't say it's bad or ugly.
I never imagine Telecasters being used, actually any American guitar brand being used in spaghetti Western soundtracks.
That's fair.
Like, if you're going to make a spaghetti Western soundtrack with a guitar, you're going Italian guitar. You know, at least you're going a European guitar. Like, you bring a Burns in there with its funky vibrato and those, you know, Burnsy pickups and stuff like that to get that crazy, slightly out of tune, thin and brittle sort of sound. It's like wavering, and you can hear like the string scratching on the frets and stuff like that. Yeah, a Telecaster's a stereotypical country guitar,
Right.
but it's not a spaghetti Western guitar.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm just disappointed that this is for sale in Clinton, Illinois. Because Clinton, Illinois is in central Illinois.
Okay.
And I was hoping Clinton, Illinois would be located in Illinois' East Woods.
Oh my gosh, shut up. First sponsor?
Yeah, this week's first sponsor is Big
Ear Pedals.
We got the loaf right here.
Yeah.
It's named after a thing bunnies do.
Yeah. When they lay on the ground,
Warm
it's
and
called
fuzzy.
loafing.
They've got other pedals. They got the woodcutter. It's named after a thing that lumberjacks do.
It's also named after a tag that gets put into some very desirable rat pedals.
No, they have some other pedals that are named after other things.
Or maybe it's called the woodcutter because we should be referring to tone as timber, which is another name for wood. So you're like cutting your
That's
tone.
an interesting point you've got there.
You're cutting your tone. Your tone. You're cutting your timber with the woodcutter. Think about that for a while, guys.
Instead of having you listen to Taylor Swift last week's episode, I should have had you listen to Kesha.
Well, there's always
That would be fun.
There's always next week, Steve.
It's your turn to pick the album for
All right,
next week.
I'll pick an
What
album
are you
next
gonna
week.
pick?
So yeah, go check out Big Ear Pedals. They've been helping out the show forever. Big Ear Pedals is sponsoring my Roadcase content right now.
Nice.
So go watch all that and send a thank you to Big Ear Pedals for making really cool pedals and being a good friend to us and to you and the show and supporting the content that you love here on 60 Cycle Hum.
So what's new, Ryan?
What's new? Indeed. Oh, I've got a whole box of stuff here.
Oh, that's right.
Some of it's for you. Some of it's for me. We got gloves in here. This is all from Hosa. They hit me up and like, hey, we made all this personal protective equipment. Can we send it to you? And of course I said yes, because I just tend to say yes to everything that Hosa wants to send me because they make good stuff. So we got some gloves here. I didn't know what size gloves I wear. And I just told them I'm kind of big, so I don't know, large.
This is a good size. This is the size I think I would get for me. Large.
Let me see how my hand
I actually
fits.
just bought some work gloves. Interesting, not some like work around the house. They're a little heavier duty than this, but
Yeah, that fits me. It feels like I could use a little tiny bit of room at the tip of my fingers, but if I'm working, like you don't want a floppy glove. You want it to be on your fingertips, you know?
these are actually designed so they're actually on the thinner side. They're more breathable. They're very flexible.
This
and
is like
grippy.
a work on your car glove.
This is they describe them as audio video work gloves.
What?
They have full finger grip with touch screen tips. So the little leathery looking suede tip on here, on the index and middle finger.
Well, let's test it on the iPad.
Put it on that iPad.
What do you know? It works. That's cool.
Yeah, right.
I don't own anything like this.
Mine works great too.
Oh, well, you're using a stylus.
Wait, why is it not working?
I don't know because you're using a stylus that doesn't charge. Also,
I just charged this last night. Oh,
Dude,
you know what? I think
it's not synced. They have this handy glove stuff, which is like a spray-on glove protecting thing. Like you spray it on your hands and it forms a barrier.
Yeah.
They also have masks. I wish I had these when I flew a week ago. I have a Hosa logo mask.
Cool.
There's one for you, Steve.
Nice.
Got some Gobi Lab stuff in here. A hand sanitizer and a microphone sanitizer. It's apple scented, Steve. And the hand sanitizer is 80% alcohol.
Here's
That
a hand
sounds fun.
scrub. It's got natural beads of jojoba and walnut.
So yeah, if you guys need personal protective equipment that's made by people making musical equipment, go check out Hosa's stuff. It looks
A
good
lot
to me.
of this, like I said, it seems a little silly, but if you're doing like stage setup, especially like for our church is doing a lot of outdoor stage,
right?
Or we were,
and you're just
and you're wrapping
doing cables
a lot,
all
like,
day long.
They get freaking filthy.
Yeah.
So something like this would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Or all kinds of other hard work that you need to do. Next time I go and do like a travel video shoot, like a commercial video shoot, I'll probably bring those gloves because your hands do get wrecked.
Yeah.
Like carrying around C-clamp stands and stuff like that, and cranking down all the little things that you need to do. It's very physical. Like video work can be very physical in a way that you might not expect. It's kind of blue collar at times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be definitely throwing those in a drawer and remembering them when I need to go do that work again. Cool. So thanks, Hosa. That's our what's new. What do we do now?
You want to do another ad?
Yeah, we could do another ad.
Let's do another ad.
Last episode went long. Maybe we'll go short on this one. I'm fine with that. Are we doing Felix?
Yep.
How much do you know about Felix the Cat?
I know he is a cat.
Meow.
Basically, I watched Felix cartoons when I was a kid. I don't really remember a lot about him.
I wonder which version of the Felix cartoons you watched.
The 30s version.
Oh, really? You watched the 1930s version, like black and white, silent?
Well, I think because I definitely in my head I associate Felix the Cat with like Betty Boop.
Okay. All right.
Am I getting this confused with something else?
No, that's a time period. Like there's Felix the Cat that is like pre-Disney and kind of invented the style that Disney ended up ripping off. Like Mickey Mouse is essentially a rework of Felix the Cat.
Right.
And then Disney leaned hard into the technology to include audio, synced music and synced vocals and stuff in cartoons, and Felix did not catch that wave.
Yeah.
And kind of fell into obscurity when Felix, leading up to that moment, was the cartoon animal. Like he was it. Like if you had asked anyone then, like, oh, which one's going to be the most famous cartoon animal of all time, they would have said Felix for sure, because he laid like the groundwork for a lot of that stuff. But there's been like, I want to say like 4 or 5 different versions of Felix cartoons over the years, as different people own the property. But I think this is fun. It has a trademark stamp on the headstock that says 2010. So this is like 11 years.
Yeah, this is
past when it was licensed.
This is $350. Do you know anything about this brand?
I know nothing about this brand. The thing that I think is fun about it is that they came up with a custom, and this photo is so poor quality, it's hard to tell. They came up with a custom wiggle stick, a whammy bar that is Felix's tail.
That's really cool.
Which
I
is
just saw that.
Super duper cool. It is like one of the main characteristics of Felix the Cat.
Is this one of those goldfish guitars?
It kind of looks like one. Is that his tail is like a multi-purpose, become anything he want sort of thing. So to have a custom whammy bar that is shaped like his tail is so deeply on brand for Felix that I'm actually really impressed by that. Like they did not cheap out here. They could have just put any whammy bar in there and they went for the tail. So I think that's cool. Like, Felix cartoons are very surreal and abstract in their cartooniness. Like he would completely rip off his tail and like turn it into a whip and then slap it back on, or like turn it into a walking cane, or all sorts of stuff, like it was this removable object that could become anything that he needed to be, and that he needed it to be.
I'm looking at other guitars from this brand. I'm very confused. There's a Felix Vibratail bass.
Let me see.
It's $500. It's like kind of the same thing.
Does it actually have a vibratail?
I don't think so.
No, it has no tail. Don't tell me there's a vibratail bass and there's no tail on it. Like they didn't even, include a picture of his tail. But that shape is fun.
Yeah.
I like the shape of that bass guitar. I like the top and bottom horns on it. It's got a fun shape. But it's like Felix says, he's fallen on rough times. I think everyone is familiar with the image of him, but I don't think anyone's actually familiar with, talk about gatekeeping. Name your 3 favorite Felix cartoons,
Yeah, I couldn't read. I have a memory of watching. I don't have a memory, like anything specific.
I just wonder if there's, obviously this thing was licensed in 2010. That's what it says on the headstock. It makes me wonder how many of these have sold. Is there anyone out there who's like, oh my gosh, a Felix guitar? I love Felix the Cat. Like, I think it's just like, oh, I kind of recognize that character. I can't imagine someone committing even $350 to a guitar because they vaguely recognize a character. And I know about him because I, love animation and I'm, an art nerd or whatever. But I can't see most people being like, I've just got to have that Felix the Cat guitar. I think if there was a true Felix the Cat fan out there who played guitar, they wouldn't buy this. They would just put a Felix decal on the guitar that they already love.
The story is just weird. So these aren't licensed guitars.
What?
Oriolo Guitars is owned by Don Oriolo, who is the current CEO of Felix the Cat Productions, Inc.
Well, he didn't build the guitars. He's having them produced.
Right, but I'm saying it's his name on the guitar.
That's interesting.
Like this isn't like and it's literally apparently like he owns Felix the Cat. Huh. So it's not, I'm saying it's not Oriolo Guitars is licensing the Felix.
That's his trade. That is his trademark.
His trademark.
That is actually very interesting.
That's the way I'm reading it anyway. And they were featured in Rolling Stone December 2010. I don't know anything about this guy. Apparently they have some artists.
Well, that would explain why he went into the detail of including the tail whammy bar. Also, I kind of want to, can I buy that whammy bar just to have a flat metal style whammy bar on a Strat trim?
Oh no.
That would be fun.
They have accessories. Is that one? They have Felix picks. They just have some other art. That's it.
Maybe this is his way of maintaining the copyright or the trademark to Felix. It's like you have to have it. You have to currently be selling stuff to maintain the copyright or whatever. It's like, well,
there's a picture of Scott Stapp holding one.
Oh, good. Wait, are his arms wide open?
No, they're wrapped around the guitar.
I guess that's better for showing off a guitar.
Here's Buddy Guy with one.
No way.
I mean, it looks like basically this guy just
photographs people holding
the guitar, but still.
It's a 3/4 size guitar.
Well, there's a full size and a 3/4 size. So this one is the one that you have pictures of, I think, is the full size one.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is of course there's Rick Nielsen with one.
Oh, of course. He probably owns like 3 of them. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually like a fan of Felix.
But there are some other designs. I'll go back to their Pro Series. They don't have prices on them. But what do you think about that body style?
Whoa. This guy's not joking around with the weird stuff.
Yeah, so basically it's like this guy's an artist. He owns the Felix the Cat design. And then he was been like sketching. I guess he like sketched a few different guitar designs and took them to the art department and was like, let's make this a thing.
This is a crazy semi-hollow.
Yeah.
That is bonkers looking. It's called the Marcus. Damn.
It's very, very different. There's also a Marcus based. Oh no, Dark Star based, right?
Yeah.
And a Dark Star. It's the Darth Vader of guitar.
I mean, they're on brand for Felix though. Like that is interesting. I mean, it's essentially like if they're, someone did make a Rat Fink line of guitars. Like this is the 30s version of a Rat Fink character where it's like very out there, very, wow. Okay, I need to know more about this brand. I've got some crazy shapes.
I've never heard of them. It looks like there's nothing updated on that website later than like 2016.
Wow.
But they kind of like, I wonder where you would buy these from.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That big pink burst thing. It's got a Floyd Rose on it. Yeah, 2016, these probably were out of the news just as we were becoming more and more aware and starting the podcast, you know?
Well, and it's such a weird space. It's like probably no one in like the circles that we run were like, hey, you guys want a Felix the Cat guitar? You guys want a pink sparkle burst?
I kind of want that pink.
Yeah, but I'm saying nobody was sending us that stuff.
Wow. Oh yeah, it was years of us podcasting before we were on the map for any manufacturers to send us stuff. Those acoustics are wild too.
Yeah. They're like kind of funky. What's that company that kind of does the parlor size blues guitar?
You're gonna have to get more specific than that, Steve.
No, I'm saying like there's like a couple big ones like that. It's like Regal. Is Regal one of them? There's the one that Andy has. You know, your arch enemy.
Right. I can't remember the name of it. I'm gonna have to look more into that brand. That is wild.
Yeah. You can get this rockabilly guitar with decal, $820.
We don't have another topic, do we? There was like a little question that someone asked, I think. Oh, it was the timbre thing. Why do we say tone instead of timbre? I already referenced it a little bit.
I already made a joke about that.
I made a joke.
Then I rolled that into Kesha. It doesn't matter. The topic's not neck anyway. The topic, not neck. Ow. Then what's next is our sponsor spot for Chase Bliss Audio.
Chase Bliss Audio.
If you want to pedal more creative than you are, head on over to chaseblisaudio.com. Ryan's going to show off the thing that he got that you can't actually buy right now because the second run hasn't come out.
That's right. I got the Bliss Factory here.
Bliss Factory.
I still have not tried it. I mean, we're recording the same session as last week, so of course I haven't tried it yet. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to have it. I used my own money, not show money. Not, I didn't beg for this or anything. I used my money to buy this.
Well, you also bought it off of a listener.
I did buy it off of a listener. I'm excited though. I'm excited to have some fun with this. Do I film the first time I have fun with it? Or do I learn how to use it and then film that? That's the question. I can't wait to plug an expression pedal into it. I can't wait to get into the little slider switches on the top. Like you get yourself a Chase Bliss pedal. It's hours, days, years of discovery of what it can do. A lifetime of discovery. With all those little switches on the back, the results are endless. Just endless. Billions of combinations across Chase Bliss pedals. That's why we say, for pedals more creative than you are, Chase Bliss Audio. And better looking too, honestly. So go check out Chase Bliss Audio. Support them because they've been supporting this show for years and years and years. And you love this show. You love this content. It's the old PBS pitch. To keep this content going, go support our sponsors. It's not Siemens. It's Chase Bliss Audio.
All right. We don't have anything set, but I'm going to grab back a couple things out of here. Sheldon Ends wants to know, what would you guys look like without beards? When's the last time that you were clean shaven?
When I did that spoof of Pro Guitar Shop.
So it's actually fairly recent.
Well, that was a couple of years ago.
Right, but I don't think I've been completely clean shaven since.
But you've buzzed pretty short.
I've buzzed pretty short, but never so short that someone would be like, "You don't have any beard." Like I'm saying, the last time I took a razor to this face.
Oh yeah, well it's been forever since I shaved. But I've buzzed my beard down pretty close to skin. I think the question there is like, if we lose our beards, are we jawless wonders, or do we still maintain most of our face? I think you can kind of tell.
I'm kind of jawless, I think.
You can tell where your jaw is. It's not like you have a long beard.
Yeah.
It's not a mystery of what's going on here. Like my beard's right on my jaw. It's not, there's what's his name? Rhett. There's not a guitar YouTuber, but like
Rhett from Rhett and Link.
Right.
Rhett.
And he has this big old beard, and someone figured out like where his actual jaw is, and it broke people's hearts on the internet. I don't think you're gonna get that with us. It's our jaws are right there.
Yeah.
The thing that you're not.
Mine definitely adds a lot of definition to the edges of my face.
It accentuates where the jaw is.
And when mine's pretty trimmed mine's pretty rounded right now, but if I were to I do usually at times will grow it a little longer in the front, and it really squares things off where my face isn't square.
But we both have the neck that meets the bottom of our chin thing going on. Like
Right.
if I do like a big laugh like this, like it would be double chin right now.
Oh yeah.
You'd see the bag.
That's
on my
why
chin.
I wear a beard, to hide my double chin.
Yeah, if you've got, a beard is a great, kind of aesthetic accessory for a man. It gives you a jawline you didn't have. It could make your jaw bigger. It could just make you look like you have a bigger head. I don't need that, but it does do that. I don't know. What do you guys think about our beards? Do you think it's okay that we have beards, or are you against
how
it?
big of a Google YouTube
A super chat?
super chat would you need to shave during, like, it'd be like if somebody super chats this amount, you will run upstairs and grab a beard trimmer.
Wow.
and do it, like take a no clip.
I feel like I should let my wife set that amount.
Ooh, that's a great point, actually.
Because she's the one who has to look at me the rest of the time, and she's the one who prefers the beard more than everyone else. She does not want me to be beardless.
No, that's a good point, because I'm pretty sure if I were to come home and my wife was like, "Where's your beard?" and I was like, "Well, we were live streaming, and we said
did it for a podcast.
We said if anybody super chats $1,000 that we would shave our beards, and somebody did it. So I've got $500 and no beard. I don't know if that $500 is enough money.
You don't think so?
I
think my wife would be fine with it for $500 because it's like we don't have to regrow a full beard for it to retake our face. Like a week of growth
that's true.
It's fine.
That's true.
It's fine. It's back. After a week, it's back.
That's true.
It's not that huge of a deal. I feel like 1,000 is too high.
I'm tempted. I would message her right now, except then she would think I'd already done it.
I don't know. I feel like $200 each. Like, so $400 total for us both to shave, I think would be in the realm of reality. But again, we have to ask our wives what they think.
What does your wife think?
What does my wife think? Bit. Yeah, an original first couple episodes
OG bit.
Yeah, go back to the beginning.
Michael Krause asks, says, otters are out, moose are now in. Pros and cons. What's that? What is that?
So I was telling the live stream the other night on the 69 420 episode that my wife wants to see a moose in real life, and she's pissed that there's no mooses in our local zoo. This is my request. If you live in an area that has mooses in a zoo, let me know. I want to figure out where the closest mooses are. And if there's a moose close enough to us, maybe I'll figure out a way to get my wife over to see a moose in person because she wants to see a moose.
The Minnesota Zoo has a moose.
Minnesota's so far away, though. There's got to be like a moose. We don't have one here, but maybe like an LA zoo or like something like that. Or
somebody asked
Arizona Zoo. I don't know.
Quora, why haven't I seen a moose in a zoo? Somebody said they've been to over 120 zoos and it's rare to see a moose.
What is this, a zoo fan?
I guess. Apparently it's really hard to feed them. Like moose don't eat.
Where is the closest moose?
It's probably
it's all moose lodges.
It's probably in Wyoming, man.
Siri didn't give me an animal moose. She gave me moose lodges.
That's funny. I feel like I'm trying to remember if I saw a moose in Yellowstone. In my brain, I did. I have a memory.
Well,
of
I think that's the real thing to do is to go on a camping trip to somewhere where mooses actually exist, so my wife can see a moose.
I heard this crazy thing maybe somebody was talking about it on that chat that in Europe they call elk moose.
Well, they should stop.
Am I getting that right?
Well, I think you could use moose as a term like the way you use bull as a term. To be like that gender or that style of that animal.
This is what it is. This is what it is. The Eurasian moose.
Moose talk, guys.
Is called an elk.
Oh.
So the North American elk, which is also called the wapiti in First Nations tongue or whatever, is what we call elk, but in Europe, what they call an elk is what we call a moose.
I see.
You guys are weird.
It's like it's a chips versus fries problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Something about In-N-Out, Five Guys, don't care. Why are so many boomers confused about my marketplace ad selling a J-base neck?
My comment was, well, did you post it as a PDF?
Can I see pictures of the body? Wait, is it just the neck? You don't show the body in the photos. I'd like to see the body. Will you ship the base to XYZ for half your ass? I actually see that a lot, like where it's the opposite, where somebody will only be selling a body. They're like, oh, selling strap body, but they have a picture of the full guitar. And it's like, well, what exactly are you selling?
Right. My favorite joke that people do is when they see an ad and they're like, how much for the couch? They just try to make offers for other things that are in the pictures.
Yeah. What guitar models, brands, or gear? This could have been an opener.
Oh, man.
I didn't see this topic until now. Do you think Gen Z will kill off because they won't have an interest in it? Someone said Gibson. I actually have heard that Gibson is very popular with Gen Z in certain parts of the country.
Yeah, I think Gibson will survive because it's got the brand recognition and stuff. I think BC Rich is on tough times. I think that's already happened to BC Rich.
Yeah, I think there's certain brands that are basically without a serious infusion or just giving up. Like,
Right.
if BC, I could see BC Rich lasting a long. Gosh, this sounds so negative and such a hatery thing to say. I could see BC Rich lasting a while longer if they go like the Dean route. Well, they basically severely cut back operations and only sell in mom and pops.
The current version of BC Rich, someone bought them up and is doing high-end builds with them, which is great. Just great. Like higher end built BC Riches can be amazing. And it's actually within the spirit of the original instruments. But I feel like if you need it to survive Gen Z, you've got to lean into the novelty of them and do something ironic and wacky with them. You know, like you've got to make it like Billie Eilish is playing at BC Rich now. Isn't that crazy?
Well, so
you know, this noise band is playing BC Rich now.
I will say, as of recording, this hasn't happened yet, but Phoebe Bridgers is going to be on SNL. She will have already been on SNL when people hear this. And I kind of like have to wonder, is she going to play her BC Rich? Because she plays a freaking BC Rich.
Which model?
It's like some jank BC Rich bronze. Like, I think it's...
That's fun.
I don't know what model it is, but it's like definitely a low end.
Like I could see old bronze and, platinum BC Riches becoming the Teisco of a future generation. We're like, look at this crazy guitar. I'm totes gonna play it.
She plays a BC Rich Warlock.
There you go.
And like I said, I'm pretty sure, because I've watched this particular live footage. It's from Phoebe Bridgers live at Red Rocks. She plays it for a few songs, 2 or 3 songs, I want to say. And I'm pretty sure at one point they have a close-up. If you zoom in on the headstock, that's the bronze series. Yeah. Which is was like the $150. And she's playing friggin' bedroom pop.
Right.
Like, you want to talk about someone and one of the other topics and one of the other suggested topics was fish out of water effect, the BC Rich surf guitar. Right? That was the idea you had for a long time. And that's kind of that it's both of the fish out of water, but it kind of makes sense because it's a cheap guitar that you might get as your first guitar. And you're making bedroom pop.
Those guitars have super flat, fast necks on them. They're easy to hold and play because they were made to be like, oh, here's a budget shredder. And what you get with that is a fairly decent playing cheap guitar because it was made to approximate a really high performance guitar. It doesn't hit that high performance mark because it's budget, but it ends up being a playable guitar because it was trying to get close to being high performance, Right. So I think there's something there to that. I don't know how we ended up on this topic, but here we are. Let's hit the last ad. And
Let's do some housekeeping, man.
Housekeeping, all right. And then get out of here after the last ad.
This is the time in the show where we give a big shout out to everyone.
Hey.
All of you good folks who have followed us over at Patreon, patreon.com/60cyclehumpcast. If you want to support the show, help support the show financially for as low as $1 a month, you can sign up there. And actually, if you sign up for a year, you could sign up for a year at $11.
Oh, yeah.
Save a month.
Save $1 or two.
You know, it's super cool. For less than a cup of coffee, you can sponsor 2 white guys in a garage.
Who have too many guitars around. In all seriousness, we use the Patreon money to fund, things that we need to buy, furniture for this space, travel, resources that we need to run the podcast and the YouTube channel.
To justify our continued existence on the internet with our parents.
It pays for, subscriptions that we need to, like StreamYard and stuff, so we can do live videos.
Yeah.
It pays for all sorts of stuff like that. It basically means that we don't run this content out of our own pocket, and when money comes in, that we get to put it in our pockets.
I actually forget about the hosting fees. You bring that up. How much? I don't know how much StreamYard is.
It's $25 a month.
$25 a month. So that's like
2.5 Inner Circle sponsorships.
So that's like $300 a year.
Yeah.
I think Podbean, who's our podcast hosting service, is like $30 a month.
Yeah.
So that's another, so basically just in general,
there's costs. There are costs.
Hosting usage, we do, like $600 or $700 plus the website. I don't know what our
it's not much. It's like $25 once a year or something like that.
Even for the server space. I thought anyway, it doesn't matter.
Maybe it's $100 a year.
The point is, like, these things, they're not insignificant, but it's nice to not have to dip into our own pockets to have to do it. So
the Patreons keep this show going for sure.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the Patreons, then I would have to be a lot more tight with the stuff that I do as far as making weekly content around here, and especially the podcast content would be probably very different.
Be very professional and scripted.
Maybe we would be on some sort of podcast network if we didn't have the Patreons. And you'd be hearing us pitch other podcasts the whole time.
We'd be on 5 podcasts just anyway.
Maybe that'd be a good thing. I don't know.
This next ad was sent by Screen Drag -2.
No, it's sent by Eric Rosenbaum.
This is a 60s Teisco Tulip. Hey, Teisco.
There you go.
E110 headless surf guitar. You'll never see another one like it.
You promise?
Up for bid, a 60s Teisco Tulip, blah, blah, blah. This is what happens when you're a carpenter and break a headstock. Pretty good job. Could be done a little better. It plays decent and the electronics work. I can guarantee you'll be the only kid on the block that has one. Reminds me of the internet famous SG and the last pick. Great for the Teisco collector that has everything. Shipping, who cares?
So I think the reason I grabbed this and decided to do it, I was like, okay, yeah, the headstock broke off and they did the thing where they put the tuners back at the butt end of the guitar. It works, it's probably fine. And also the top horn, like top bout area of the guitar is snapped off, and they did what they could. It actually ends up looking like a fairly modern, like headless guitar in shape. The thing that cracked me up about it is all the labels on the back. Like there's 3 labels on the back saying the guy's name. Yeah. Like, okay, we get it. Ken Sherrill, journeyman carpenter, with his, you could call this guy, his phone number is on here. It's his business card.
This says
like scotch taped to the back.
This guitar is now in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And then it has a paper tag that says property of Ken Sherrill right underneath the business card taped to the back. And then it has a plastic, like punched label made sticker that says Ken Sherrill. We get it, Ken. We get it. This is your guitar. You don't need to keep labeling it over and over and over again.
Did you see in this picture, the picture of the tuners? There's basically a string guide for like what size strings to get for this thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, just so you know, there's no 1, 2, 3. There's only a 4, 5, 6. This is kind of like, how much do they want for this?
I don't know. This is folk art
price?
at this point, though.
$340. Oh,
Oh, what? No.
This was very endearing until I saw the price.
No, it's,
At like $175, I kind of want it.
no, this is the guitar. This is a guitar that you give to someone.
That's true.
This is a guitar that like Grant Wilson comes into owning somehow. He's like, I'm going to give this to Ryan because I don't know what to do with it anymore. I have to do. I have to say, I've started to phrase that weird. I have to do say, but my good sir,
I should do say.
I really like the flower patterns that they put on these Teisco tulip guitars. I think that's really cool. I think the Teisco, you're wearing the shirt right now, I think they should put that tulip pattern on
pedals.
On pedals, like they should do a special run pedal that has that design on it.
That'd be cool.
I really like it. Like it's very folky in a mid-century sort of way.
Right.
And I get that they're trying to do like the Gibson Hummingbird thing, but I feel like they've come up with a look that's almost more charming in a way. I don't know. And then the white pinstripe on this is home done by probably Ken. I don't know. I don't think anyone should pay money for this. This should be a gift. This should be gifted to someone within the family of Ken Sherrill. Other than that, I've got nothing on it.
What if you didn't have anyone? What if you
not even a sibling or an uncle or a nephew or something
just
like
saying,
that?
man.
It's true. And you could possibly have no one in this world, and that's sad, Steve. Thanks for
You ready to get out of here?
really taking us to the end of the episode with a sad thought.
Yep. You ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
All right. This song was sent by Kyle Saloka. He says, "Hey guys, so I have a song here. Two things I should immediately point out is that this song is entirely about a singular strain of medicine called wedding cake. And the chorus contains the word that I will not say right now, even though I already marked this episode as an E. So it's up to you guys if you want to use the song. We're going to use it. If not, totally understand. Oh, we're going to use it.
We're going to use it.
This is a simple demo that I did in my basement. The drums are programmed. All the instruments are direct. I used a PV MX VTX amp, which I left on standby and used the effects loop output into a sphere mic preamp, and then into the DAW. Oh, that's a neat idea. The slide guitars are an Epiphone Les Paul Jr. modified with a Tele neck pickup in the bridge. That was just going to be a Tele neck.
Yeah, just the neck. Where's the body?
Yeah, the rhythm guitar is a Partscaster Strat. The bass is an old Magnum PJ bass copy direct into a Neve preamp. The keys are an old Crewmar Road Racer. I won't bother going into the various pedals and rack units because I can't remember what they were. Hope you enjoy my dumb little song. I clicked on Google Drive. Now it's loading and loading and
We can do this. Together we can make this work.
still loading. I couldn't load the song ahead of time because I had to read the...
Oh, hey guys, while this is loading, make sure you record your unscod song. We're going to pick the winner and listen to all of them in April. Last day to do it. Last day of March.
Did you say
guys.
winner, Ryan?
What?
Is there a prize?
Yeah, I think we're going to do prizes.
Ooh.
Yeah. So stay tuned for all the details for that.
Unscar my song.
Take out all the horns.
We need to listen. We need to actually listen to that song and learn what the actual melody
No,
is.
we don't. We do not.
It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, you bet. that bass, that groove. I would much rather listen to this than Taylor Swift.
Oh my gosh. You still on that?
No, that was a lot of fun.
That was kind of like a twisted Sir Duke.
I like that a lot.
The twisted Sir Duke.
That's a jam, man. I want to hear that. I know that it's a song about a strain of marijuana, a strain of drug, but like that should be a song that's played at weddings, at wedding receptions. Like just tighten it up, make it, give it that kind of like give it that Black Eyed Peas shine production wise to it. What? You got yourself a wedding reception song right there. Everyone's gonna dance to that. It's a jam.
That was fun.
All right, bye everyone. Stay grounded.
See ya.